Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Just continue to subscribe, share, thumbs up the video, like it. I am coming on here to talk about depression. That is something near and dear to my heart. There will be a part 2 of this topic, of this talk that I'm about to share with you all, and I'm doing it in my own way. Hey guys, it's your girl Just Susan 96 here. So I just jump on a bit, more or less, you know, deal with something that is close, nearest and close to my heart. It may touch one or two people. Depression. Depression is a killer. And from my own point of view, what I have experienced, depression is not an easy thing, and everybody deals with depression differently, totally different in their own way. And my former depression came 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16. But the height of my depression was between 2010, when I got into a major car accident, 11, 12, 13, So, coming out from that accident, I went into a very bad depression. And plus, I was suffering from post-traumatic stress or something disorder, PTSD as they just call it. It was hard. Those years were hard for me, mentally, emotionally, and I would say physically to an extent. But I was walking, but I was in pain. But I had nightmares, and when I say nightmares, bad nightmares. Nightmares of where you're seeing the dead. All right? I am now a little older. I'm in my late 40s, right? And for those past years, I've been sleeping with my light. You see that light there? That light was my saving grace. And when I say saving grace, because I now have my home, but I was living by my mom. And by my mom, I had a lamp, one of that, but it's outside in the living room. I think I did a DIY on it last year Christmas, right? That had to be on right through. When I say right through. And even when I was doing therapy, I visited my psychiatrist, psychologist, or whatever you call them. That light had to remain on. That light was my way of coping. A mini cope, right? Sorry about that. That light had to remain on every night. Every night. If current go, my phone light was my saving grace. And I'm telling you, there were times that the current went and I had to put on my phone. My phone was my saving grace. Depression, I was taking meds. I was on a lot of medication. And you see that medication for depression, I used to take Zoloft, and then my doctor switched it from that to something else, to help me sleep, calm, that sort of thing. And those medication had me shaky, nervous. I was in it's like I know it's today Saturday, but it ain't feeling, you know, I in a different zone, right? Yeah, today is Saturday, but Saturday what? Saturday afternoon. I was, you know, but I tell you, and I kid you not, I had a great friend. She used to call me, well, she is my best friend. She used to call me like almost every day. How are you? You all right? How you going? And it had times that I am telling you guys that I don't want to talk. I'm crying. I asking myself why. And one thing she always used to say, never question God. Never question God. At that point in time, I wasn't saved. And like I said, I got saved on the 3rd, on the 3rd of September 2016. And it was a morning time close to lunchtime, around 10, 11. Right? My brother-in-law, which was my pastor at that point in time, he's alive, right? But God always says, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Seek ye first, and all shall be added unto you. Okay? So when I was going through that depression, that state, that mind-boggling, how to get out of it, because I was fighting, literally fighting to stop take the medication, to get out of that depression. But I had to stumble and fall. And when I say stumble and fall, I had to go so deep, so deep in asking God to take it away. In asking God to help me heal. In asking God to help me forget that accident. I'm telling you this because, as I said earlier on, everybody deals with depression in a different way. And you have to find yourself. Not just find yourself, but you have to put all your trust, all your faith in God. And it's by me giving it all up. Stop taking the meds. And look for that opening. And when I say opening, that opening meaning God. Now, much people doesn't want to hear these things because everybody feel that there isn't a God. You know, it's not a Christian. I don't believe, or I believe it have a God, but I don't. Come on, because I am telling you all this. When I was in that hospital, I remember there was a guy next to me, and it was in the night when they brought me in and they wheeled me into emergency and everything. And they wheeled me into emergency, and I was in the room, or a space where, yeah guys, sorry about that. I just got a call. I was talking to my aunt, my father's wife. So yeah, so I was wheeled into this room, and I was in a space where they draw the curtains. I tell you, they draw that curtain. When they draw that curtain, I alone on a bed by myself, frightened, worried, scared, you name it. I was all over the place because I just come out. They just use the jaws of life to take me out of this car wreck where these 2 people died. And I'm telling you, it was so gruesome that the driver died. His neck was broken. My boss, you know, Yeah. And those are things that I wish for no one to see. And that there, being in that room, there was a young guy, a young gentleman, maybe, I don't know how old he was, but he was in the room where I was in. And he was bawling, he was crying for his mother. He was also crying for God. I believe he may have gotten shot or some kind of thing. But he was crying and bawling for God. Help me, God, help me. Help me. I want to see my mother. I want to see my mother. I want to see my mother. That is what he was saying. And God help me. God help me. And for that time that I was in there, I don't know, something different was happening to me in that room at that point in time. Nurse came in and they gave me something to take, you know, pains and pain. When I tell you pain, body pain, body pain, body pain, body pain, pain. And all I could think about is my son, my mother, who's gonna help her with the grocery, who's gonna help her with the light bill, all kind of thing. I in pain, eh? And I'm thinking all these things. Coming out from that hospital was the hardest thing for me because I slipped into a depressive state. I couldn't talk about the situation that had happened. I couldn't talk about it. Every time I tried to talk, my doctor tried to get me to talk, I used to cry. I couldn't say nothing. I couldn't say nothing at all. And I slumped into I went to a dark place, right? I went to a dark place. I started to, and this dark place, I let my mother know what time it is. I disrespected my mother. All that time I was dealing with my own depression. I was taking tablets. I was, you know, crying plenty. I was shaky. I was nervous. You know, to eat is pain. To walk is pain. Is everything. Everything was compilating. It was just compacting inside here, inside my heart, how I was feeling. And I just wanted to die. I seriously wanted to die. I was asking God, why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? You know, the why me? Why? I was there. But every time I go to church, I used to be crying. But I know how I'm feeling. I go to work. I didn't even want to go to work. I didn't want to go to the same place that where my colleagues and I came from, because we worked Defense Force headquarters together, my boss, the driver. And it was hard for me. Yes, I had individuals talking to me, but they didn't know the severity of how I was feeling. They know that yeah, and you know they're talking everything will be all right, and you know you just had to get together, but they didn't know how I was feeling deep down inside. I would go and line with them or whatever. They didn't know. You understand? They didn't know, because that part I was just hiding it. They didn't know that I was sleeping with a night light. They didn't know that. Whoever knew, but it wasn't everybody. To pass on I remember coming from a function with one of our ex-soldier. I don't know if he's still in the work. I don't know. He said, no, today coming, say, gotta pass. We going up on this stretch here. But you see, people doesn't understand. When you spew things from your mouth, and the things that you say, you know, it holds a bad repercussion, or it holds that, you see, depression and that frame of mind. You have to know how to sit down and talk to somebody. And I said to him, I said, please, let me not go up there now. We could pass somewhere else. And he passed up there. But he still didn't understand how I was feeling and how it felt to me, because I was still battling depression. Not much people know that I was seeing doctors on the outside. Therapy on a Saturday. To try to, and not much people knew that, So there was an instant where one of the military drivers, came to pick me up at home to bring me down the road, and I went into a catatonic state, and I ended up at St. Anne's Medical Hospital. I ended up at St. Anne's for a day. I couldn't speak properly. I couldn't, and those are things that the medic said to my son's father at the point in time, and maybe other people too, that she couldn't talk. She couldn't talk properly. I was begging. You see this? To break this nut. To fight, because the medications I was already taking, and to fight to tell the doctor at St. Anne's, I want to go home. Not I want to go home, I want to go home. I want to go home. Because I was fighting to bring it out. I'm telling you, your mind is a place when you go. And by me going through those stages, something just said, Susan, pick up yourself and look to go to church. Go to church. And I did so. There were things that was happening to me at home that I didn't understand. I really didn't understand. Because I let my mother know what time it is. The Bible talk about that. You have to honor your parents. So your days on this earth will be, it will last a little longer. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't no Bible fanatic, but I believe in things that resonate and stick within my soul, within my head. I could be able to bring it forth to you guys, so you all will understand. Because depression, you have to fight to come out of that. You have to fight to come out of that depression. Nobody else could bring you out of that. You have to fight. And then you have to make that soul decision to allow God to flow within you. You have to want God to step in and change you, change your life, change your way of thinking, change your way of doing things. And let me tell you something. So by me going to church and thinking and sitting, and every time I go to church, I used to cry. I used to literally cry. And I was asking myself, what are you crying for? Why? And I still had to come home and face that light. You understand? I still had to come home and face that light. I have to come home and face it. People, wake up. Put God as your ideal, your first. Make Him part of your life. And every time I go to church, I cry. And every time I leave church, I feel a little better. But I was still dealing with a lot of issues. I used to go to court. And when I go to court, I used to feel sick in here, sick. Because I am going into this thing that I have been in, that accident. Because I had to face whoever I'm facing. Understand what I'm saying? I don't want to go in depth into that, right? But I'm just letting you all know that depression state it have many layers of depression that you have to peel away. It had the spiritual, it have the family one, that kind of depression too. Your mother and your father and everybody could send you there, you know. It has so many layers of that depression that God has to peel away. And he peels it right away for you to become affirmed in his word, you know, for you to literally be free, right? So I am basically telling you guys that it is hard, but it's not that hard. Many people suffer with depression in different ways, but I am telling you, once you seek God and you change your life, everything shall be added unto you. Don't just plain people that just come to God and say, Lord, Father, help me. And you feel He go help you, so He hears you, you know, but you have to put in the work. You have to do that work. You have to do it, and you do it diligently unto Him. And, you know, things will start to fall into place, right? So, me going to court, me feeling sick, it was trying for me. Body ache, pain. I had stopped doing physical therapy, like water therapy, shock therapy, things for my back, my body, you know. I had stopped because it wasn't working for me. There are things that may work for others, and I had to be spiritually cleansed from the top of my head to the sole of my feet. I had to be spiritually cleansed, and that came in 2016. That came in 2016. You know, I just came here to tell people that depression is real, but families also have to help, you know. Don't take these things for granted. Talk to them. Let them know that God is there to keep them sane. Sometimes some people, it's hard to help, you know, themselves come to terms with whatever. But I am here to tell anyone that is suffering from depression that you could do it. You may find it hard now, then, today, but don't give up. Don't give up. Don't you ever give up on God. Don't give up. And I will always say this, I never give up. I had my good friend there, you know, even though she was dealing with whatever she was dealing with at that point in time, she was there for me almost every day, talking to me. And I had to be asking, yes, I was asking God why me at that point in time, but I was also fighting myself, literally fighting to come out of that depression, to stop taking the medications. I was fighting to come out of it, because while going to work, I didn't want to be in the place where I was working. I didn't want to go there because it reminded me of my boss. It reminded me, you know, the good times we had. It reminded me of that. Then I had issues with my mom. I disrespected my mom. I even wanted to move out. You understand what I'm saying, people? And that was something that I couldn't deal with. I couldn't deal with it.